Let's go straight to the front of the Financial Review. I think the Fin's got a pretty good take on tomorrow's front page and the way we're travelling. I mean, we're going to talk about lifting restrictions. Most of the big papers are going with that. But Phil Curry goes with PM Flag's business growth plan. So he's sort of projecting this forward pretty well. Tax and industrial relations reform, deregulation and fast-tracked infrastructure are back in the mix, as Scott Morrison says. An aggressive pro-business investment strategy must be pursued if the country is to claw its way out of the pandemic-induced recession. Now, there's a photograph there of Morrison. On the way out, we are going to have economic policy measures that are very pro-growth. Our government sees business at the centre of the economy, not government. Pro-growth. That's the key here, Matt Cunningham. Pro-growth. So you're going to see a coalition government turbocharged on pro-growth strategies.
Yeah, I've got to say that was the quote from his press conference today that stuck out to me as well. I think it was in response to a question from Malcolm Farr, who's writing for The Guardian these days. So I'm not sure what The Guardian's take will be on this particular story. But yeah, that's right. But I think he's got it right. I mean, at the end of this, we are going to have a look, going to have a very different looking Australia, and we're going to need a very different approach to the way we do things, Glee. So much gets caught up, and I think in many ways this was a message in some ways to the states and territories, because so much, as you've reported on regularly there in Queensland, and I have too here in the Northern Territory, so much gets bogged down in red tape and regulation, and businesses who are just out there trying to have a go get caught up in the mess, and often they give up. Life is made so difficult for them that they just throw the towel in. And so I think this in many ways was a message to those premiers and chief ministers who he's been working so closely with as part of that national cabinet, that as the country begins to move out of this crisis and try to get back on with business, they really have a role to play, and really that role in many ways is to get out of the way.
Matty, I wrote a column recently for the Sunday News Corp papers where I challenged local government and state government in particular to get, as you put it beautifully, get out of the way and let developers who have got cash, because a lot of developers will go by the wayside. Any developers that are running around at the moment with a wad full of cash, let them go. Give them their projects, and of course you need to be very, very cognizant of the environmental and conservation laws. You can't give them a green pass, but you should give them the opportunity to build billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of infrastructure and projects without the green and red tape that have hindered them in the past. New paradigm. Things start after this thing finishes and we start again.